Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. Let me check my headroom. Is that max headroom?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got Colby with me, and I just want to tell you something I didn't say to you today. We had a lot of conversation back and forth as free agency is taken off like a rocket. Colby, I think you have a skill set that a lot of people don't have in talent evaluation, and akin it to pieces on a chessboard and all these chessboards out there on different teams and systems and stuff. And I've heard a lot of people talk and evaluate, and you're way up there. I'm very impressed with your knack for it. You just have a natural knack for an eye, for that talent. So I'm just really lucky to have you and your input, because you can't really get that. Let me explain something too. We all really sometimes should probably take it easy on fans a little bit, because if we were to bring fans to our world, and that means we take them to Dove Valley, our Dove Valley, not Elway's Dove Valley, and they go to the chalkboards and they go into the meetings, they'd be on the floor. They'd be wanting to run out of there as fast as they. I mean, you know what I'm saying is that people. It's not like auto racing where a lot of those fans have their own automobiles and they're like, kind of like semi-engineers themselves, But a lot of fans want, is instant gratification, quarterback talk. They don't know anything. They really don't know the game. They really don't. I know it's going to offend some people, but a lot of them don't really know. And I think there's a lot of people that know what we're talking about. I'm not saying that even you take us out of the equation completely. I'm just saying in general. So I guess it's a long-winded way to say that I'm very, very happy about what you contribute. You're right. You don't, and I know you get frustrated. For all those that think Colby's online here, incognito, if you don't think he's a Bronco fan, I had to calm him down because he was in the beginning of the day, because he was seeing all these top tier interior people going to the teams that really make a noise in the playoffs, who are contenders, not pretenders. These are teams that they don't settle for. It's good enough, the good enough mentality. Oh, our offensive line, it's good enough. No, that's not how they operate. That's why they're in the playoffs all the time. Okay. And I had to calm Colby down because he was so pissed off in the beginning. And then there was a revelation, a couple of picks. And it looks like the Broncos are finally telling the STR crowd to shove it. Hopefully, at least so far, but we still have a lot to be seen still. So I just want to say that the free agency started off where all these big names didn't want to come here. Okay. And we had I want to say this to Brandon Stokely. You need to shut the fuck up. I mean, I don't want to hear you saying that we need a new GM because he's not aggressive enough. You do understand. First of all, he's the guy that got Wilson, right? He got Wilson, not Elway. He got Wilson. He did. You're not thankful enough for that. You wonder why Von Miller hates your guts. Well, maybe he doesn't hate your guts, but why he doesn't have any respect for you, doesn't want to be on your show. Okay? Because I'm sick and tired of hearing you. This is the thing. I knew you would run your fat mouth. Okay? How can you possibly say he's not being aggressive when we've just cut the legs off of any possibility of being aggressive? We have to be smart, not aggressive. Okay, Stokely, you get it? Don't try to get him fired. I'm sick and tired of you trying to get this thing started to get somebody fired. Okay, I'm sick and tired of being told I'm not a Bronco fan. I never asked to fire anybody or suggest it, except for Elway. I'll admit that. But because I know if we get him out the door, everything else will fall in line. But I'm sick and tired of it. You know, there's a reason why the Broncos are limited right now. We said we love Wilson. We just would have liked to had him after we used our draft picks and our capital to, as you say, be aggressive, not just aggressive, but to be smart. So, Colby, I got my little rant. Let's talk about how this day went in the beginning. And I'll shut my fat mouth and tell us how the good teams, what are they coveting in this free agency? Where have we seen these players go? Who are these players and where have they gone?
Well, I just want to start off by thanking you for those kind words. I don't do this for appreciation. I do this because I love the game of football and I love doing film and I love doing analysis. I want to thank you personally because you're basically the one that calms me down when shit hits the fan. And usually I'm more of that renegade, get shit done, not giving you know what, and not thinking about the words I say that could possibly hurt people. So I just want to say this to the Bronco fans. I do apologize. It's nothing personal. It's I have a different line of thinking than most fans do. It's nothing that comes across as I'm
Thank
trying
God.
to
Thank
yeah.
God. Yes.
And not, I think we should be thanking you more importantly because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be on here doing what I'm doing. I mean, that's just the God honest truth. You're the one that started this channel, and I'm just along for the ride, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. But so I just want to thank you personally. But anyway, going back to what you said, the good teams, what they did, they didn't covet those outside linebackers. They coveted interior defensive line play and interior offensive line play. Okay, that's what the good teams coveted. You saw what the Chargers did. You saw what the Bills did. You saw what the Bengals are starting to do. Even the Giants are starting to do that. Even to the same degree, the Jets, even the Patriots are starting to do this. So it's no secret and it's no surprise to me. That's why I'm pissed, is because I want to be more like those teams. I don't want to be more like the Jaguars that are spending $85 million on receivers. Okay, we've already done that, and look how that's turned out. I want to be like the good teams in the National Football League, not the bottom dweller teams in the National Football League.
Worried about those edges and not that push up the middle. And we got ourselves finally somebody to listen to what we were saying about this interior. You have, let's take the interior from the back end. Still needed maybe to sign Bryce Callahan so we can get this slot taken care of. You mentioned, who did you mention for the slot possible free agent?
So a possible free agent obviously is Bryce Callahan. He's number one on my list, but the second guy on my list is called DJ Reed Jr. Play corner for the Seattle Seahawks. He's about 5'9", 185, strictly a slot corner in a nickel dime defense. Can be your Bryce Callahan replacement. A lot younger, has a lot of upside to his game out of Kansas State. Really big fan of him. The thing I like about DJ Reed is his instinctual ability and coverage and his sideline to sideline twitch in his hips. Also, his feet are very fluid as a slot corner. And I think the one thing that separates him is basically he's very intelligent. He knows when to turn it up. He knows when to basically jump the receiver on a certain route, on a certain hitch route, certain out route, certain 10-yard hitch route, certain things like this. And I believe he's 25, 26 years old and a guy that would be an upgrade in that cornerback room.
Okay, I'm gonna stop this just for a second. I want you had talked to Cecil Lammey, Nick Ferguson. You had a little sit down talk with them about the middle. Tell first of all, Well, I want to ask you, who does this channel not obsess with in this free agency? Who are we not obsessing with?
Quarterbacks.
Names. Just give me some names.
Bobby Wagner, Chandler Jones.
Don't want to hear Bobby. If you want to hear Bobby Wagner, Chandler Jones, that name's like ricocheting around the bubble. You go back to the bubble, you can just keep saying. But if you want to learn something, if you actually want to learn something, why the Broncos picked who they picked, you may want to stay tuned. You had a nice little sit down with Sports Talk Radio, our arch enemy. No, but it's always good to be civil and have some discussions, because at the end of the day, we are actually Bronco fans right here. We are Bronco fans. So what did you bring up about what they forgot about the interior? Because we just talked about the back end interior, but let's just talk about the interior in general real quick.
Okay. So real quick, what really brought me to call them was Nick Ferguson talking about the interior defensive line. I was really impressed that he brought that up, because usually people would be muted for bringing that up at Sports Talk Radio. So I did a quick call in, and I basically, the gist of what I said, to just sum it up quickly, is I said, you ain't going to get pressure off the edge. You guys are so focused on edge pieces. You guys are so focused on Bobby Wagner pieces. You need that interior pass rush. And this was before the DJ Jones pick, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I said, you guys have to remember Super Bowl 50, and this is to the fans that have a hard time grasping that as well. You guys have to remember Super Bowl 50. You guys haven't had an interior pass rush since Malik Jackson and Derek Wolfe. You guys haven't had that instinctual coverage ability in the middle of the field. It's not just to cover tight ends, but it is to neutralize the middle of the field. I brought that up too. We haven't had that since Danny Trevathan and Brandon Marshall. And guys like Alexander Johnson and Josie Jewell aren't going to get the job done. Draymond Jones, I brought him up. He hasn't been getting the job done. The praise that he's gotten has just been out of this world. I don't understand that. But again, I said strictly, when you have a Malik Jackson and Derek Wolfe, it's going to make your entire front seven move like a working clock, move fluid, move with ease. And we haven't had that, and I'm hoping that DJ Jones can provide a little bit of that fluidity.
DJ Jones. We'll get into that. We'll talk about our very own Jones, Draymond. And he's not going to be our punching bag. Actually, we're going to talk about him in a more positive light, because now we can. We only talk about things that we can talk about, that makes reality. Okay, so we talked about the outside interior. Now we talk about the mid interior with our linebacking. I absolutely do not want to has-been another Elway as usual. 7 years of getting old retreads that are past their prime. That's why I think Pecco needs to go. Not Pecco, Pecco. Parsons, yeah. Yes, Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, excuse me. We need, go ahead.
Oh, Mike Purcell. We need,
Purcell.
Yep.
Micah Parsons. I'm all over the place here. So anyway, we don't want the interior, the middle. We need to secure the middle of the field. You brought up securing the middle of the field. Could you get into that a little bit?
Well, yeah. Basically, a player that I wanted to go get, and I've been wanting for 2 years now, is Jayon Brown. I understand the concerns about Jayon Brown, which is his injury history. I understand that, but he would instantly upgrade your linebacking core. I did film on him, and I sent you film on him. And I've done a lot of film on these mid-tier to lower-tier free agents, because I think they can make a difference more than what we have on this roster. But anyway, Jayon Brown is a guy that his hit fluidity, his coverage ability in terms of his instinctual ability, in terms of coverage, in terms of his tackling prowess, and his mindset when it comes to reading the quarterback's eyes, reading the quarterback's demeanor, reading certain play packages that the offense is running, doing hard homework before the game, is something that I haven't seen us have since Danny Trevathan. And I compare Jayon Brown to Danny Trevathan. I think he's up there with the Danny Trevathan when healthy. And he's not going to ask for a lot of money. And he can help out your Baron Browning. He can help develop a Baron Browning. Even I would bring back Kenny Young. I thought he played excellent when he had the chance. Bring him back. You don't have to bring in Jayon Brown, but bring in a Kenny Young. Don't bring in a Josie Jewell for 2 years, $12 million, because his physical prowess isn't up there with a Kenny Young or a Jayon Brown.
Okay, we talked about. I want to apologize too. I had a hell of a day at work today, and this is again. It's midnight at the Oasis. We don't do this. Isn't our job, so I'm not. I can't remember who my mother is right now. So you got to excuse me with the name game here. So I want to talk about the linebacking core. See, these other teams. What did we hear from Sports Talk Radio today? Good enough. The word good enough.
Well, we heard that strictly with the right tackle position, which really concerns me, even the middle linebacker position as well.
Yeah, because these teams that are in the playoffs a lot, they're constantly upgrading because just good enough. They have their quarterbacks, but still just been player personnel around them. Just good enough isn't just good enough. We got to get away from just good enough. There's a guy who got away from a team because all they were is getting into was just good enough. And I'm going to just put this out here right now. Again, this is kind of a repeat of this. The Denver Broncos are on double secret probation as far as Russell Wilson is concerned. If I was Russell Wilson, I don't care what team I went to, I would not sign an extension until that 2 years is up, and I'm convinced that this team isn't just, putting just good enough around me. If this team is just putting just good enough around me, I'm going to go. And I think that even if we want Wilson to be here. We want smart moves. We don't want Riddick. Remember the guy who hadn't had a sack last year? Let's bring him in. Names that go, the typical Elway names of washed up people that bouncing around or players that are a name but we don't need them, and we need other areas. So we have this challenge because we're trying to get this thing put together right for a change instead of going down the same road that the Broncos have been going down for the last 7 years. So with Josie Jewell, Alexander Johnson gone, right? What about Browning? What about bringing him up and coming?
Well, I think Baron Browning, again, I was very high on that pick coming out of Ohio State. He was a top 5 linebacker in my class last year. Was he the number 1 linebacker in the class last year? No, Zaven Collins and Isaiah Simmons were my top guys in that draft, I believe. I think that was the guy after. Zaven Collins was my top guy in that draft. I got to remember.
I think I was saying Micah Parsons is.
Yeah, Micah Parsons was a different type of player, though. He was more of that blitz style.
Yes. And that's another thing. Excuse me, rubbing my eyeball like this. You just itch. But and that's another thing is putting the right guys in the right systems, not just say, name. We got a name. Another edge with another guy. I think the Broncos are pretty strong on the edge. If Chubb healthy, he's got the interior. I just posted the Goldman.
Yep.
You would like to see another interior guy go in, and now we can talk about Draymond Jones a little bit.
Yeah. I would love to get an Eddie Goldman in here. He's not going to ask for a lot of money. He could play your nose tackle. DJ Jones, I'm so ecstatic that we got him for the price we got him because he's not going to cost that a lot of money. And on top of that, he is a young, up-and-coming hell of a player. I loved him coming out of Ole Miss. I think he's a hell of a player. I want to talk about DJ Jones, and I'll get into Draymond Jones. I know we're short on.
Well, hold on a second. Explain also with DJ Jones why this is the anti-Elway, why this is exactly the polar opposite of an Elway pick.
Because DJ Jones isn't a name, ladies and gentlemen. This guy is a sound football player. He was a sound player for the 49ers. I did film review. I sent you the film review on him.
I'm going to post that.
Yeah. DJ Jones, 6'3", 309. This guy is an absolute wrecking ball. And the thing I love about DJ Jones is his first step off the line of scrimmage. That push up the middle, which me and you have asked for 7 long years. He is, and you know what? I know he's undersized, but and I'm not comparing him to Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's undersized for his position, but he has so much leverage technique to do a bull rush, to do a Swiss move with his hand placements, and he just doesn't give up. And I'm so excited for this DJ Jones pick. I love it. A+ for George Payton. A+.
Yeah. Again, when you're fixated on names in a bubble bouncing back and forth because all you know is a name bouncing back and forth, we're going to show you film and we're going to make you try to hopefully you'll understand how that helps the edge out, how this will help Draymond Jones out.
Yeah.
Well, hold on a second. Also want to say why this is an anti-Elway, because it's a young and up-and-coming somebody who's going to grow, not somebody who's a has-been, who's past his prime, typical Elway, overpay. This is smart football for a change. Smart football from the front office, finally.
Yeah, finally. And I'll go to how this helps Draymond Jones. Draymond Jones, this is going to help Draymond Jones. And I would love to bring in another defensive lineman because that could even make Draymond Jones.
Explain it too. Yeah, explain if you brought Goldman in, what you would do with that situation.
Yeah, so if I was the GM for the Denver Broncos, and if I had full control, I would bring DJ Jones. I would have went after Sheldon Joseph Day. It would have been no question, ifs, ands, or buts. He was my number one defensive lineman. But if I had to strictly just go with what I have now, DJ Jones, bring in Eddie Goldman. There you go. There's your 2 defensive linemen. You can play that 3-tech 3 front with that front 7 and that nickel dime personnel. And then Draymond Jones can eat. Draymond Jones, again, he's not Draymond Jones. This is gonna help Draymond Jones. This isn't gonna hurt him. This is gonna help him. DJ Jones will be his Batman. DJ Jones will be the Batman to Draymond Jones' Robin. And
you think the Broncos could still use one more guy in the middle?
Yeah.
There, correct?
Yes. Get rid of Purcell. He's past his prime. Injuries has hampered him. Bring in an Eddie Goldman. And Sports Talk Radio was talking about him earlier today. And Tyler Palumbo, we have Mike Purcell. He's good enough. Just the sheer fact that you guys are, and I'm telling you, I'm actually happy about this because just the sheer fact you're talking about these guys is making my job easier because you guys 2 to 3 years ago wouldn't have been talking about these players.
I'm getting sick of hearing good enough on this.
Me too.
It is not good enough. And you know what? You're going to lose Wilson because Wilson left. It's just good enough. You better get that through your head. If for those that want Wilson. Oh, he'll be here forever. Oh, you think, huh? You think. I just want to say one thing. We should pat ourselves on the back with this. What we said is that we were very skeptical about all these top all these top free agents willing to give up all this. Oh, we don't know. I'm going to go to Denver. Where did your top defensive interior guy, where did he go?
He went to Los Angeles Chargers, who are good. I'm going to tell you guys right now, that's a scary unit you're going to be going against. And this isn't just the Chiefs and Broncos in that division. Watch out for the Chargers. I'm telling you guys right now.
You're not the only one who's been saying this too. Oh, the Chargers. Yeah.
Yeah. Going to eat against our offensive line.
Oh my God! I mean, can you imagine Cleo Mack lining up against? Well, he'll go right down the line.
Calvin Anderson. You don't forget they have Joey Bosa too.
I know.
And they got Sheldon Joseph Day. And they
they totally understand it.
Yep.
They totally understand it. And the Broncos are going to get a lesson that your offensive line that you put in front of Wilson isn't good enough. You'll find out, just like you found out that nobody was going to just rush to Denver. That was remember how Stokely was so shocked? You live in this bubble. You don't live in reality. I'm just telling you. You don't live in reality. You don't. So the fans were all pissed off because they're the chumps they want. I don't know what they were thinking. There's a lot of teams. It seems like a lot of them want to go to Cincinnati.
Yep. And they're not going after these edge rushers. They're going to guys with Harrison Phillips. I'm a big fan of that went to the Giants, I believe. These defensive linemen are going before
Buffalo.
outside.
I think didn't some go to Buffalo?
Yep, some went to Buffalo. Some are going to the Bengals. These get the Chargers, even the Jaguars to some degree. But again, these teams get it. These top level teams get it. They don't go after edge rushers. Number one, they go and covet these defensive line players, which I've been saying. Ashawn Robinson's still out there, folks. Again, that's a guy I would go after. So. I mean, I'm running low on time here. I got about a few minutes before I'm done with work, but again, I'm going to say this. Got to hold myself together because I'm so excited about this DJ Jones pick. This has been one of my.
Stop there. We need to keep going. And
I know, but
about our offensive line too. That's really.
I agree. But bringing in a guy like DJ Jones brings me excitement because we haven't got a guy like that in years, and I'm so happy we got him.
And maybe our message is finally starting. Maybe we should think about the middle. I mean, when I'm breaking down film and I'm seeing it on other teams attack the middle. And, that's where it is right now. Teams covet linebackers that can cover and can go sideline to sideline. That's not Josie Jewell. That's not Alexander Johnson. I'm sorry. And that's not the guy anymore from Seattle, okay? He's done.
Yep,
Get it through your head.
Yep, agreed.
Okay, we have talented edge people. We need to get this middle shored up. They got a long ways to go still.
I agree.
But a step in the right direction is a breath of fresh air finally.
Yes, we should take this small victory, pat ourselves on the back. We got a good defensive lineman, and I'm very happy with this move. A+, very happy.
Yeah, we got to get. Unfortunately, I think the good enough has to go.
Absolutely, I agree. You can't have Calvin Anderson. That's good enough. Josie Jewell. That's good enough. Again, bring back Josie Jewell. Please do not sign a new to you.
It's not good enough. You'll find out. You'll find out what good enough is.
Yep.
I thought you saw the Super Bowl, the last two Super Bowls. I don't know. Maybe I'm watching it. Nobody else is, but. I'm seeing the push up the middle. I'm also seeing the coverage linebackers taking the first reads away. The safeties, like for Cincinnati, who we talked about it 2 years before they went to the Super Bowl, making big plays against Mahomes. Maybe we do know a little bit, okay? Maybe. I don't know. Anything else?
Nope, that's all for me.
All right, I'll post this. I'll post your videos as well.
All right, well, I'll keep you updated, guys, with everything, and everyone have a good night.
All right, take care.
You too. Bye.